Welcome to Clue Me In, back with a new season and a Christmas special, where we unwrap the world's strangest mysteries, disappearances, unsolved crimes, and eerie cases that leave more questions than answers. I'm Liv.
I'm Kay.
And I'm Grace, here to act like I know what's happening while I wait for someone to fill me in.
Usually Liv and I dig into strange mysteries, but today we're covering a Christmas classic. So join us in grabbing your hot chocolate as we dive into our cozy mystery. Who really wrote "'Twas the Night Before Christmas"?
Wait, it wasn't just Santa?
No, it was not. But the real story is much more interesting and way more mysterious, so let's dive into it. So, first, Grace,
Yes.
I'm curious.
Yes.
Can you recite "'Twas the Night Before Christmas"?
Okay, I actually think I might be able to
Okay.
because we have this game in my family where we
wow.
change some of the words of "'Twas the Night Before Christmas."
Oh,
Are you going to sing it that version, or are you singing
No,
the regular
because we
version?
change it every year based off like the grandkids. But
Oh, that's cute.
I might be able to.
Okay, all right, go
Shall
for
I?
it. Yeah.
Okay. 'Twas the night before Christmas, where all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. And the stockings were hung by the chimney with care, waiting for Saint Nick to appear. Something like that.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yes.
I cannot.
And then there's like sugar plums and kids' heads and stuff.
Yes,
somewhere.
it's pretty lengthy.
So our story begins in 1823, somewhere in upstate New York. So locals wake up to a quaint little poem in the winter, and it's published anonymously in the Troy Centennial newspaper. So this is a poem that would forever change the way we celebrate Christmas, and it was actually called A Visit from St. Nicholas.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
kinda cool.
but today, clearly, it's best known as the story we all love, "'Twas the Night Before Christmas."
So after it got published, it became a holiday favorite, like, very quickly, painting the picture of Santa as a jolly, plump elf who slides down a chimney with sleighs full of toys. It pretty much helped shape of, like, what we think about Santa today.
Mm-hmm. Like
Yeah.
the child wonder.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like, the
Yeah.
whole picture that we think
Yeah.
of.
Before this, like, Santa didn't have a consistent image. Like, sometimes he was tall and thin, or sometimes he was, like,
so this is
quite
where
terrifying.
he got the old
Yeah.
guy with the white beard.
Yes, exactly.
Gotcha.
So this helped, like, solidify his jolliness.
Yeah.
And usually as, like, an anonymous poem in a local newspaper would, like, probably go unnoticed. Like, people really wouldn't give it too much thought. This one actually, like, captured everybody's hearts overnight, and people from everywhere, like, fell in love with it. And before long, like, debates were igniting over who wrote it, and people were talking about it. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I actually, just to side quest a little, so I shared that story at the beginning. Well, I also don't even know how I forgot. Every Christmas, we listen to this audio recording of my grandparents. My grandma reads "'Twas the Night Before Christmas," and then my grandpa sings "Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer."
Oh, that's so
And
cute.
they made it back in, like, the 80s or 90s when my brother was a kid. Yeah, and we listened to it every single year. And, like, now all of my siblings listen to it with their kids. And
I love that.
yeah, so we were like, I don't know how I didn't remember that until just now.
Wow.
But
See, and yeah, seriously, that goes to show just how much. Like,
yeah, because it's like, as a kid,
it's
you
a part
listen
of
to it, and
Christmas.
it's so magical because you're
Yeah.
hearing this story, and you're like envisioning, like Kay said.
Yeah,
You know, you're
yeah.
like, oh, wow.
Oh, that's
Santa,
cute.
yeah.
So for like years, actually, people were just speculating on who could have written this poem. And then finally in 1837, so that's like more than a decade after it first appeared. But the mystery seemed to be solved because Clement Clark Moore, who was a well-known scholar, said that he wrote the poem as a Christmas gift for his kids, and that he decided to publish it publicly years later. And he openly took credit for, like, being the one who wrote the poem.
But did he actually?
I
Or did he just take
know.
credit?
Good question, Grace.
I'm using my detective skills.
Yeah.
Wow. And what's interesting is that Moore didn't even like include his poem in his personal like collections. Like he was a scholar, but like he didn't include it in all of those collections he had until his friends and family like encouraged him to do so. So some letters suggest he wasn't super proud of it at first, which is what fits the idea that he saw it as like a small private little piece that he wrote just for kids. But it also like opened up the possibility that he had a like he felt a little weird claiming it possibility, and maybe like a bit of guilt because there's a chance he didn't actually write it in the first place. Like I don't know, like maybe he didn't say it at first, and it took a lot of encouraging from his friends and family, and he didn't want to because he didn't actually write it.
Right. Yeah. But
That's a
I
theory.
thought it was really interesting because I was like, what was he a professor of? And he's actually a professor of biblical learning and theology.
Oh.
Yes. And, at the General Theological Seminary in New York City. He also came from a very wealthy family, and he was known for his like classical education.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is definitely like a very seriously academic guy. So this is where like some of people's doubts started coming in about whether or not he actually wrote it. Many like historians describe him as stiff or formal, which adds to the question of whether like this whimsical Christmas poem could actually be really written from this man. And also like he spent most of his time writing Hebrew dictionaries and like
Oh, wow.
theological essays. So like this is pretty different from his Twas the Night Before Christmas. So it's just it's creating doubt.
And it has to do with like Santa.
I was kind of thinking that
Which,
too, like
if
funny
you're this
being a
academic
theological
in
Yeah.
like
biblical studies.
Yes, I feel like you wouldn't then write something about. I mean,
But
I could
like
be wrong.
he
I don't
took
know.
credit for it, so
Yeah.
even if he didn't write it, he was fine. People thinking he wrote
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I just think that's interesting.
Yeah. And then there's also the whole question of like, you know, why he waited more than 10 years to claim the poem.
Right.
Why keep it secret for so long?
Did he get anything out of claiming it? Just besides like the recognition, I guess.
I guess
yeah,
the fame,
just
yeah.
the fame and recognition. And like, I mean, your family still recites
true.
it.
That's
So like,
true.
I think it really did just like catch on.
Yeah, but I could not
So
tell you
quick.
who wrote it, so I don't remember that part.
No
you know
one
what
could
I
tell
mean?
you who wrote it.
Yeah. Well, I meant even if it
No,
was
I
this
know.
guy.
Yeah.
So, and of course, like most mysteries, it can't just simply be one man who's come forward and, you know,
Right.
claimed this
That would be
fame.
way too easy.
So, along comes Henry Livingston Jr., which he was a poet and a farmer from upstate New York whose family didn't speak up until actually the early 1900s. So, this is now decades after, and also decades after he has passed away. So they claimed he was actually the true author of the poem, which definitely made the whole situation more complicated.
Oh, so Henry didn't come forward. Henry's family
yes,
did?
he
Right.
had died.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and they kind of had some compelling reasons. Like, all of his kids and grandkids said that they had, like, vivid, clear memories of him reading it to them as early as, like, 1808, which was obviously more than a decade before it was printed. And then a lot of family members also claim that he wrote it down in letters and manuscripts that, like, predated the publication, but... they were lost in the fire. So that's a little iffy.
But, I mean, so it wasn't just memories. Literary experts who studied his work and his other poetry noticed a strong similarity in the style of rhythm and writing between his works of 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, and his poems were also very, like, folky and playful, so they had the same tone.
Unlike the other guy where they're vastly different.
Right.
Yes, and he often wrote like rhyming couplets with a lighthearted tone very similar to the rhythm of 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. But on the other hand, Moore had always had more of a formal academic style, so a lot of people are thinking it sounds more like Livingston's voice.
Yeah. And plus, the Livingston, who was the poet and farmer, he was from the same, like, general region where the poem first appeared, whereas Moore was located, like, all the way in New York City, which was quite a distance, like,
Right.
several miles from the city of Troy where the poem was published.
I wonder if the family waited until after he passed to like honor his wishes. Like maybe he really didn't want it public. And then after he passed away, they're like, okay, like we can give recognition to him now.
Yeah, well,
That's true.
Unfortunately, them waiting is actually the whole problem with people
Oh, really?
wanting to believe Livingston side because there's not actually any proof. Because they waited until he passed.
Yep. So on the one side, you've got Moore, who is respected scholar, publicly took credit. And then you've got Livingston, lively poet, family swears by his authorship, even if it's a century late to the party.
Right.
So the debate has raged for nearly 200 years at this point. Both men have strong claims, but no definitive proof.
Until tonight,
when you will be giving us the
Yes.
definitive answer. So let's just jump into some of the theories, which is pretty much what you would think. It's one
Right.
or the other
Okay.
for the most part.
Gotcha.
But Moore wrote the
Battle
poem.
of the Poets.
Battle of the Poets. So first theory is that Moore wrote the poem. This was the professor. But that maybe he was like drawing from earlier versions or bits of stories that had already kind of been floating around in folk tradition. Almost like an unintentional collaboration that like never got credited. So that's one theory.
So then can you guess what the other theory is?
Hit me with it.
Okay, so some believe Livingston
What?
was the original author. Crazy. And they
did not see
believe
that coming.
that Moore took the credit.
What?
What? Crazy. But
These are the more straightforward theories than we've ever had.
I know.
The coziest mystery we've ever done.
No one died. Well, I guess they're both dead
They're
now.
both dead, but no one died like brutally.
yeah. They just
yeah,
died of old
correct.
age.
Yeah, exactly.
I have no idea.
And we didn't research that
I
much.
didn't research that part.
Okay, well, so back to the theory. So some believe that Moore took the credit, but they feel like maybe it was like unintentional, or maybe because he was like more famous, so it could popularize the poem even more. And honestly, once the poem became like legendary, it's easy for the spotlight to settle on like the most recognizable name. So like it would make sense that somebody like him would take credit.
Yeah. Or what if it's Santa?
Good old Saint Nick.
Now, what if he
Gosh,
wrote it
why
by
didn't we think
himself?
of that one?
Grace, hold off until the definitive answer part.
My bad.
So, like, literary scholars today have actually, like, done stylometry, which is basically analyzing writing style with computers to figure out who this was written by. But, I mean, results were still kind of mixed. So the one study looked at things like word choice, syllable patterns, and that type of stuff. And the guy who did that one came up with that it was Livingston, especially because in the poem, they tended to use more like Dutch influenced phrasing, and his family was Dutch.
Interesting.
Yes, and the poem actually contains several like Dutch references, including like the name of some of the reindeer. Whereas Moore like just didn't usually write that way.
Right.
So even though like the computers proved that it's probably Livingston, a lot of people like pushed back saying that even though Moore was like a little bit more formal in his style and everything, that they're saying it's a possibility he could have came out a little bit more playful in this, especially if he was trying to write for kids.
For sure.
And so even though like all the tech analysts like says it doesn't, some people say like,
They're wrong.
yeah, basically that like, how can they really say that's the answer?
Right.
Yeah. And then there's even a third idea that the poem we know today is just a polished up version of an earlier piece, because some researchers say that they think the Sentinel editor could have like revised and edited the original manuscript, which would explain why like parts of it feel more refined than Livingston's typical writing. If
it was
were.
Livingston.
Yeah.
But I mean, whether or not I know your family specifically like does Twas the Night Before Christmas
Yeah.
every Christmas. Whether your family knows about this, you guys could possibly
know.
debate about it now.
Yes.
I'll ask them, have them listen to this episode.
But
sure.
I mean, this mystery has basically become a Christmas tradition now.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
I'm going to have to add this into the rotation every year, and we'll revisit.
Yeah.
All right, Grace. So now it's time. What is your definitive answer about who wrote the Christmas classic?
Oh, man, I think I've written more out of it. I don't think it's him. So I think I'm down to Livingston and Saint Nick. I'm just kidding. I think
Tag
it's Livingston.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. I think it just makes more sense. I feel like there's more evidence. I feel like Moore's only evidence is that he claimed it. And like that's his like strongest piece of evidence. But I feel like Livingston, like, it sounds like him. It was where he lived. His family remembers him reading it even before it was in the paper. So that's my definitive answer.
Do you feel like possibly there could be a third person out there? Like, what if it's not
Yeah.
either of them?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there could be, but I really do think that it's
Yeah.
Henry Livingston.
Yeah.
Oh, you even remembered his
I
first
know.
name.
Good
You
job.
forgot the
Impressive.
junior, though.
Oh,
Henry
Junior.
Livingston Jr.
It's not his father. That is my definitive answer for this one.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Clue Me In. If you want to dive deeper into the mystery of 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review.
So what's your favorite holiday poem or story? Let us know, and don't forget to follow us on Instagram at cluemein_podcast.
And if you hear noises on your roof on Christmas Eve, remember it's probably Santa Claus.
Or Krampus.
Or
Oh.
Krampus. Probably Krampus. See you next time on
Clue me in.